Hi, welcome back. You're tuned into this special edition of Climate Clock. And as I mentioned earlier, EDF, or Environment Defence Fund, is making strides when it comes to fighting climate change. Last month, the organization hosted a conference where stakeholders from all walks of life, startups, investors, industries came together to discuss how to together fight climate change and how investing in climate tech is the way to go. I spoke to EDF and a whole host of startups as well. Take a look.
EDF works really hard to look at systems change so that we can ensure that all of us are operating in a better and more effective way, and we bring together the players who can really make a difference and drive that change for the long term. So in this context, the investors, the startups, the experts who can, and the scientists who can help inform what the right choices are in order to make the biggest difference in the shortest amount of time. We've done this before in San Francisco a couple of years ago, and it was sort of a trial, and it was so successful. Coming out of that meeting, some of the startups had new investments come in, and those have done really well over the last few years. And India is at a point now where the ecosystem is sort of in that similar place, and we can see real positive progress here too.
There's a green premium that exists in climate technology across the world, and there's work to reduce that. I think what Indian businesses are showing is there is green bonuses to be accrued. Cement companies, steel companies that are engaging in the circular economy or using heat more efficiency, or consumer goods companies that are optimizing freight are all doing good for the environment, but are improving margins in the here and now. So the narrative is different. As you're thinking of a high growth economy, when you're doubling steel, doubling cement, etc., there is an opportunity now, and some, not all, some of the technology that will allow you to double but build the second half as green, similar to the profile that we have on energy. So the green shoots of optimism are clearly visible.
Looking at where the biggest differences can be made in the context of climate change. And we can't get to a net zero future in any place of the world if we don't look to innovation as a key driver of that pathway. And so that's why we're here, because of the need to innovate and support the development and of new solutions and helping to bring them to market. And I think there's tremendous potential here in India to do that as India builds and develops. Get that in and infuse that now so that the growth is done in a way from today forward in a low carbon and meaningful way that drives prosperity for the Indian people.
If you look at defining climate through three kind of buckets: mitigation, adaptation, and resilience, one of the biggest opportunities in mitigation is the energy transition value chain, and which meant not only generating renewable energy, but looking at all kinds of applications and uses of energy and seeing that can we make them in a much more greener fashion. So mobility as a result of that is one of the other big areas where we as a fund, besides what we are doing in renewables, is an area where we're investing capital. So today, a fund which is a $750 million fund, it's, incidentally turns out to be the largest single country fund in the developing markets, is a third invested in renewables, a third invested in mobility, and then we are investing in areas like water, climate finance, energy efficiency.
Really happy to hear investors wanting to invest in asset, right? Because for the last, I would say, a decade, it's always been, is your model asset light? And now suddenly people want to actually get into manufacturing, get into asset, which is what will make real change. Unfortunately, it does require capital investment, and ours does too. So we are actually an 8-plus-year-old company. We've been slowly building, scaling up the manufacturing, and also driving forward the market adoption as well.
Our primary market at the moment is hospitals. So large hospitals, India is building a lot more hospitals. So we focus both on existing hospitals and upcoming hospitals. So we are right now working with more than 45 across the country, and we have helped them reduce the energy consumption by 35% on average compared to the historical consumption. There's one hospital that's reduced its energy consumption by 73% based on compared to what they've been doing for the last 10 years. So that's the opportunity of efficiency.
All right, that's all we have on Climate Clock today. Thank you so much for watching.